After the group dispersed and their journeys became clouded in mystery, our heroes move forward in the world of AMC's Fear the Walking Dead.
Let's check in and see how everyone fares in the second half of Season 2. I'm Brian Mitchell.
And I'm Ian Stark.
And this is the Skybound Rundown. After choosing to stay behind to walk among the dead, Nick heads deeper into Mexico, searching for a town to accept him.
And after a lot of walking, camping, and some throwing up,
Nick sees a group of men not only killing walkers, but humans too. Anywho, in the heat of all this fun cactus chewing and piss drinking, Nick remembers...
Daddy's not coming. He was in an accident.
While learning about his dad's death, Nick is attacked by 2 dogs.
Then the dogs are attacked by a horde of walkers. Now with a limp and covered in blood, Nick is truly at home with his friends. Until the group of men come back to take shots into the horde. And Nick decides to play chicken.
And let's throw a W up on the board for Nick.
Just before dying in the street, Nick is spotted by a new group. Hooray! The new group, led by Luciana, a tough-as-nails, badass lady, gives Nick shelter in their hospital.
This is the first time we see Alejandro, a presumed doctor presiding over a large, happy, functioning shantytown.
Why come all this way?
I want to be where the dead aren't monsters.
On a leisurely walk one morning, Nick witnesses Alejandro and Luciana leading all of the townspeople in a bizarre ritual.
Well, that safe haven didn't last long.
And for the first time since the fall of Celia's compound, we catch up with Madison and the other survivors.
No.
Ah, shit. The Abigail is gone.
Good thing we found this completely non-ominous hotel resort.
Inside the hotel, the group finds rooms with walkers.
Service is subpar.
Meanwhile, Nick gets a rundown of the new rules.
1, around los muertos, you stay absolutely quiet. 2, around me, you stay absolutely quiet.
And it's on their walk that Luciana reveals that Alejandro leads his group because he's been bitten by a walker and survived.
Bullshit. You're bit, you turn.
That's what we thought too. Well, it's time to go grocery shopping at the local cartel-run superstore.
Son dos.
Eran.
When things go sideways, Nick uses his junkie knowledge to his advantage.
You need oxy. We have oxy.
Dangerous game there, friend.
But it worked.
But he pisses off Alejandro in the process.
If you ever put my people in danger again, I will feed you to the wall.
Oh, and Madison and Strand just get drunk for a while.
Oh no! Hordes of the infected surround our 2 intoxicated heroes. After a long time away, we finally catch up with Travis as he struggles to manage Chris.
And Chris steals water and food from a group of young guys.
Unfortunately for them, they run out of gas shortly after leaving the scene of the crime, and the guys catch up real fucking quick.
But Travis, being the badass he is, steps out to greet the gentleman.
Do you want a debate? What do you want to eat?
And they seem alright. Alicia gets into some trouble as she jumped to conclusions about a missing Ophelia. Then she has to leap into an empty elevator shaft to avoid getting caught between 2 packs of walkers.
But after a few terrifying moments, she is saved.
Where is he? Where is he?
And this chick is pissed. She's going crazy looking for Hector.
Who's Hector?
Don't worry, we'll find out who Hector is soon enough.
It's a game of trust for survival as our heroes face a separate crossroad. Alicia uses her wits to convince the woman that she should help her find Madison. Nick must learn to trust Luciana, even though Alejandro's people are living in cult-like circumstances. And Travis questions whether or not to trust the new trio of young guys as they offer to drive him and Chris closer to the US border.
You're not having fun.
No, not exactly.
Chris, on the other hand, is having the time of his life, making buds.
We need a group. We need people.
After finding a ranch that they can take shelter at, they find someone still living in it. Chris has just killed an innocent man.
So, Travi, you still think you made the right decision to stick with Chris?
Back with Alicia. Her and Elena get down to the bar only to find it's full of the infected. Oh no. Before she can search for her mama, they're confronted by a group hell-bent on getting the hotel keys from Elena, who, as it turned out, killed everyone at a wedding in order to protect the rest of the hotel.
Yeah, that's one of the more fucked up things we've seen this season.
They trade the keys for Elena's brother Hector. Hey, that's who Hector is. And Alicia deftly opens the door to the bar, releasing a horde of bitey boys.
After Alicia and Elena are chased into a corridor by the infected, they're saved just in the nick of time.
Hooray! Madison's alive!
Madison and Strand escape the horde by using a door in the back of the storage closet.
At the Colonia, Nick devises a plan to redeem himself after putting the group at risk by stretching the remaining drugs they have. That means mixing them with powdered milk.
You're a pharmacist. I am a junkie, okay? Trust me.
Meanwhile, Madison calls upon Oscar, leader of the other hotel group.
There's work to be done. We need each other to do it.
Realizing that their current method for clearing the dead from the hotel would take weeks to complete, Madison and Alicia come up with a risky plan to clear up most, if not all, in one shot. The plan is to release all of the walkers and have them follow Madison down the main corridor and across the pier, where they can take a long walk to their deaths. Hooray!
Safe from harm and finally united, the entire hotel group has a Thanksgiving feast to celebrate their success.
And Nick and Luciana finally get it on after some intense sexual tension. People are leaving the Colonia, and Nick, Luciana, and Alejandro can't figure out what their deal is.
After they're captured by Marco, the Colonia is now definitely in danger.
Alejandro is having a hard time keeping the people of the hotel hopeful as their water supplies dwindle.
Nick and Luciana eventually make a trip back to Marco's compound to trade the fake drugs for more water.
Things are finally starting to look up.
Ice makers on the circuit we got going.
Oh man, things are so great right now.
Strand! No! Eileen Gutstrand, whom she blames for killing Oscar's wife and her daughter, Jessica. But she was bitten during the wedding fiasco. It's not Strand's fault.
Strand is okay, but he needs antibiotics that the group will have to leave the hotel to find.
The stabbing also brings up some more political issues at the hotel.
If anyone raises a hand to another, they're out.
Madison and Elena head out to a warehouse to grab some antibiotics for Strand.
And when they pull up to the spot, what do you know? It's Marco's warehouse, the very same place Nick and Luciana have been dealing the oxy to.
Small world! As Marco interrogates Francisco, Madison overhears something.
Someone with ratty hair. He brings them drugs.
Blinded by wanting to find her son, she bursts in on Marco.
This is a massively terrible risk, since Strand is literally dying with each passing moment.
Back at the Colonia, tensions are high as the lack of water have caused Alejandro's followers to lose faith in him,
causing him to lash out and act irrationally.
So you want me to just follow you blindly?
Nick says, "Fuck that!" and goes behind Alejandro's back to protect the people of Colonia.
We need more water, okay? Whatever Alejandro says, he's not a rainmaker.
And it only gets worse for everyone. As Nick takes a walk to clear his thoughts, he gets spotted by Marco, ultimately revealing the Colonia's location.
And here comes Madison, continuing to risk everyone's lives. In an attempt to draw Nick back to her on a rumor she barely overheard, she turns on the hotel sign in the night.
But this shines a light on an even more serious issue.
Your child is always your child. He's always
your child.
Is Madison losing her mind too?
Well, at least one good thing will come from the sign turning on.
After Madison turned on the lights to the hotel, refugees are literally flooding towards the gates.
Hey, come on, we want to go. Oh shit, what up? Is that Travis?
Before Travis left the ranch, he stuck around to help stitch up baby James.
Get better? Yeah, he's gonna get better.
Later that night at dinner, Travis finally confronts Chris about killing a man in cold blood at the ranch.
Where the hell is your remorse?
But Chris is finding he has a stronger bond with his new friends than he does with his own father. The group wants to continue their plan to head to San Diego, despite Travis's pleas to realize that San Diego is a lost cause.
Tell them what we saw.
We never went to San Diego.
Troy, Brandon, and Chris decided that James wasn't recovering from his gunshot wound fast enough.
They figured ending his life would be easiest, so they could continue their little road trip to San Diego.
Travis says, "Fuck that."
You're not gonna kill him.
In order to protect James, Travis throws him a slumber party. And in the morning, Chris brings them breakfast in bed, with a side of betrayal.
Show me mercy.
Ultimately, Chris decides to leave with the bad boys, and Travis can't do a damn thing about it.
God damn you, Chris!
At the hotel, Travis recounts everything to Madison, but feels an overwhelming remorse.
I forgot to tell him I loved him.
Unable to turn away the people outside of the gates, the good staff opens up their doors and creates a makeshift refugee camp.
We don't have enough for nearly half. This is bad.
Madison drops a bomb on Alicia about her father's death.
His accident. It wasn't an accident.
Madison kept her father's suicide a secret because she sees too much of her husband in Nick.
But this brings Madison and Alicia's bond back together. Even Travis makes it up to Alicia.
I'm sorry that I didn't protect you better.
Everyone loves each other again.
With the spirit of family filling his heart, Nick attempts to make amends with Marco to protect the Colonia.
Lárguense, you live now. I'm waiting to see. Or die.
Basically, Marco befriended the biggest drug lord in Tijuana and no longer needs the drugs from Nick. But what he does want is the entire fortress of the Colonia.
Say it ain't so!
Nick returns to the Colonia to explain the plan to Alejandro, but is interrupted by some asshole.
In the moment, Alejandro is bitten. Now we'll really get to see if Alejandro is immune to the infection.
I am not immune.
And Nick knew it all along! Way to go, Nick.
But Luciana is not convinced.
The faith we have, it has protected
It's
us.
a lie.
It doesn't mean it hasn't worked.
Back at the hotel refugee camp, Madison confronts some unsavory characters.
Hey, it's Derek and Brandon. Where's Chris?
My buddy who was driving, he didn't make it.
Holy fuck! In an attempt to protect Travis from finding out that Chris was killed, Madison pushes the boys back out into the open.
But not before old Travie baby sees them from the window.
Chris!
After some tough love,
I'll tell you.
the boys tell Travis what happened to Chris.
All right, we put him down. We had to. We had to, man.
And those were the wrong words to tell Travis. Hey, he wasn't a part of it! Afterwards, Madison steps in to clean up the mess. But now shit's all fucked up. Per Madison's rule, anyone who commits violence must be exiled from the hotel.
We can leave with him. We can go together.
With the decision made, Madison asks Strand to leave with them.
I wouldn't die for him, and I'm not dying for any of you.
Well, that's that. Looking to make amends for Travis's indiscretion, Alicia offers to help Andres perform surgery on his fallen friend. But the surgery doesn't pan out, and Andres has to kill Oscar.
Don't make them see this.
Andres pulls a Travis and lets his anger overrule his logic.
Andres, put down the gun.
Oh no! He's gonna pull the trigger! Until Alicia stabs him in the chest!
Now our unlikely band of bandits are on the run.
But Strand chooses to stay behind.
Victor.
I'll be okay. Go.
At the Colonia, Nick confronts Luciana about leaving before the narcos arrive.
Do what you do, Nick. Run.
So he does. But on the way, he spots something major that makes him turn around.
So Nick makes one last attempt to convince Alejandro to let his people live.
Give them permission to run.
Turns out the big choppy boy that Nick saw was a Medivac helicopter that landed across the border in the US.
Well, that sort of changes everything.
Almost as much as Nick drugging Alejandro so the people of the Colonia can live.
Nick used drugs for good, yeah!
After leaving the hotel, Madison brings the gang back to Marcos' warehouse, only to find that everyone is gone.
With the morning comes chaos. Marco and his gang approach the Colonia ready for a fight.
Except everyone's gone.
Besides Alejandro, who moves the bus and allows the Colonia to be flooded with infected.
Yay! Good job, Alejandro!
He even tells Madison and Travis where to find Nick.
Order.
In the end, Nick convinces everyone to follow him north back to the good old US of A.
And it's at the border that Nick spots a refugee camp in the distance.
Everything is going to be all right.
Nick! Will Nick and Luciana make it across the border alive? Will Madison and the gang be able to catch up to Nick? What's going to happen with Strand back at the hotel? Where has Ophelia been this whole time?
A line has been drawn, and there's no telling what future holds for our survivors. But the sun will shine once more in AMC's Fear the Walking Dead.
Be on the lookout for our recap on Season 3, and be sure to catch our rundowns on Telltale's The Walking Dead and the mother show herself, AMC's The Walking Dead.
Support the rundowns by liking, subscribing, commenting, loving, and sharing the wide world of Skybound. Thanks for tuning in, folks.